So the game for me that was spoiled by the lovely internet community was 3 years ago in 2017. One of my most anticipated titles of that year was Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, which I did enjoy, but I think overall it wasn't as good as the first one, but that's not what we're here to talk about. So back when that game released, it must have been maybe a day after it released, a particular YouTube channel, not going to name names, decided to upload a cutscene from, I guess, like 2/3 of the way through the game. I think when BJ Blazkowicz goes to Venus to audition for a film to play a fictionalized version of himself, but obviously he's undercover because if he went as himself, he would be arrested and killed. But during the audition, a very old, frail, and borderline insane Hitler comes through the door, and he's the director of the film. And I had the whole fact that Hitler was in the game spoiled for me by a YouTube channel literally uploading a video that said Hitler in Wolfenstein 2, and then there he was on the thumbnail, and it was like, oh cool, thanks YouTube channel for ruining all of that for me. I mean, Hitler's not like a boss or a character you can actually interact with. He's only in this cutscene, but the fact he was in the game was going to be a surprise. But I had that spoiled. It's not like a massive thing that I've had spoiled for me, but I still wasn't too happy about it. That and knowing Aunt May dies in Spider-Man. I knew that before I'd even played the game, and it was still so well done. I still cried, even though I knew it was coming. Don't spoil cutscenes, please. Thank you for not spoiling Half-Life Alyx, internet. You were very good at that. Keep it up.
So I was thinking about this, obviously. You know, you can't do one of these without thinking about it. But there are actually so many different video games that the internet has spoiled for me over the years. Red Dead Redemption 2, for instance, about Arthur, you know, being sick, spoiler alert. That was spoiled while I was mid-playing that game. And I would never have thought that was going to be the ending for his character. And then, obviously, it happened, and I thought, well, I'm pleased I knew that in advance. That wouldn't have been a lovely little twist to find out for myself, even though it is quite obvious in hindsight because he just coughs all the way through and even writes down that he's feeling sick, but I didn't pick up on any of those things beforehand. But the main one for me, and this might be weird because it was actually like a year before the game came out, but Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, was obviously hotly analysed, and you know, every single gameplay thing and trailer was analysed so much, and frame by frame people were going through the trailers and the footage released and everything that Kojima had said to figure out what the game was about and what the story was going to be. And when Ground Zeroes came out, which was the kind of like prologue to the actual game, which ends with Snake, Big Boss, in an explosion in a helicopter and going into a coma, people already figured out back then, based on the first trailer for the game proper, that you wouldn't be playing as the real Big Boss in the final game, which you find out in the very last mission of Metal Gear Solid 5. It turns out that you were playing as the medic from the helicopter the whole time, and you had had your face changed, you had been kind of brainwashed to believe that you were the real Big Boss. And people figured this out like a year and a half, maybe a year before the game came out, just by analysing the differences in the opening, the differences in the voices, the faces, stuff like that. And it was something I just saw briefly on a forum. Someone mentioned it with a few bits of evidence. It is one of those things that sticks with you. You know that old saying that, you know, you remember what you want to forget and forget what you want to remember. This was the case with Metal Gear Solid 5, because I wasn't even hyped for that game until about a day before it came out, and yet I couldn't get this spoiler out of my mind, and it wasn't confirmed, obviously, it was just a theory, but the theory was so convincing, and obviously it came out to be true. So yeah, there was a bunch of absolute geniuses who managed to figure this out a year before the game came out, and I just happened to see it while scrolling on the forums, and then it stuck in my mind, couldn't forget it, came to the day. Obviously, that's how the game ends. It still works really well, but, you know, wish I didn't know about it.
So a video game that was spoiled for me by the internet was Bioshock Infinite, and I am a huge fan of Bioshock, but it was completely spoiled for me in 3 simple words. Booker is Comstock. So a lot of the Bioshock games have some really good twists in them. Obviously, spoiler alert, but obviously in the first one, it turns out that Andrew Ryan, even though he is a bad guy, but you end up getting betrayed by the guy called Atlas. And there's just some really brilliant twists in each of the Bioshock games. So I was really looking forward to having a brand new twist in Bioshock Infinite. They completely hyped it up. I was super excited for a new Bioshock game. And then I see this whole Booker is Comstock thing, and I was like, what the hell are they talking about? Who's Comstock? Who's Booker? And then from the moment that I got introduced to Booker, I was like, okay, so this is who I'm playing as. This is the Booker that they're going to. Like, you know, who is this Comstock character? And then to obviously get into the game and find out that Comstock is like this big, you know, he's the creator of this brand new, like, floating world in the sky. And then instantly I kind of clicked as in, like, wait, hang on, Booker is Comstock, so how does that happen? So like the whole game I was basically questioning how that is possible, and then obviously it ends up turning out that it's kind of like a twisted timeline, and then that Elizabeth can kind of go through time. She can make time portals and stuff so she can travel through time. And so I was then starting to question everything in that, so how am I Comstock? How does Booker become Comstock? And I started to piece things together way before the surprise twist at the end came to be. And so yeah, something that should have been a really kind of confusing and mind-boggling situation for me was kind of already spoiled, because I was kind of already piecing things together as the game was going on, because I had that spoiler in my head from the get-go. So yeah, thank you very much, Internet, for ruining a brilliant game for me, of a brilliant franchise, of a brilliant series of games that I absolutely love, and it was completely spoiled by the Internet with 3 little words.
So my one is just the worst thing that could have happened, to be honest. I had The Last of Us 2 spoiled multiple times, and I didn't even go out of my way to find stuff. I'm not going to go into the spoilers themselves, because just F that, a whole idea of trying to ruin something that someone else is excited for. But yeah, the first time, it's happened like 3 or 4 times now. The first time was I was moderating one of the comments on one of the videos that we put up, and I can't even think what it was now, but there was something that was a top comment that I was like, oh, we should pin that, and that'll be cool to, you know, be underneath the video. So I logged in to the YouTube side of things. It was like muscle memory. I just scrolled down. I went to just to click that top comment, thinking, you know, the top comment over here will be the top comment over there, and it wasn't. Once I logged into YouTube and just muscle memory down, the top comment had been replaced by a big fat spoiler, and I just looked at it. You know, I just sort of took it in, because what are you supposed to do? And I went, oh, okay, I can't unknow that now. I know that sentence. Okay. But at the same time, you know, I was talking to Josh about it, because he sort of half saw something as well, and we were both saying, look, it doesn't matter, because the authority in this case is the final game, and like Neil Druckmann and Troy Baker and everyone else has said, you can't replicate what the final game is going to be. Which is true. And I was like, well, in my own mind, I was like, well, I don't know specifics. I know one sentence, and, you know, I'm sure there's way more to it. And even then, I don't, you know, because the authority is the final product, how much do I really know? And so I just, you know, try to force my way, you know, to move on. Life carries on. And then I can't think where I was the second time. It was some other comment section or something. Oh, it was a live chat. When I was watching something live, I forget which game trailer was being revealed, and it was a premiere, and just saw it just something else fly by in the live chat. So just YouTube, why have you not got muted words and phrases and customizable things that would let me, you know, block all this stuff? Because all it takes is one absolute nutter in the live chat, or something where they can just, you know, put a comment out and no one else is going to see it for a little while. Or we're all going to see it, but no one on the official side is going to see it to mute it or block it or hide it. And it's all ruined. So, I mean, yeah, it's happened twice more since then. I've had details kind of half corroborated. I still don't know you know, too much. I'm still psyched for the game. I've been replaying the original one, forcing myself to still care. But yeah, it's The Last of Us 2, and I don't know how to deal with it. Kind of just, you know, feel like Kirby, big old black hole inside. All I can do is consume to try and feel good again. And I'm still looking forward to the game. I'm still sure it's going to be amazing. But you know, like just why have you got to do it? I'm not even going to look in the comments this time. So if you leave nice messages, thank you very much. If you're one of those people, just any mention of The Last of Us 2, you're diving in there trying to ruin it for everybody, then F you, and they can't even put them on YouTube, to be honest. Just you have to pixelate all them if you want to. You probably can't do that. Mr. Rich, we're on YouTube. We'll see how this ends up in the edit. But yeah, cheers everyone, and wait for all this to blow over. Rambling.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. Now, if you want more chatty faces, why not watch through the rest of our playlist? But I just want to say a big thank you to the brilliant channel sponsors for voting on this week's chatty question. And if you want to join the vote, then why not consider hitting the join button and becoming a sponsor today? And we will see you next week. Bye!